The Geekazine Weekly Podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network, found over at www.techpodcast.com. If it's tech, then it's here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast, episode number 173. Yeah, I'm back in the regular seat here, but I did use that usual scrubby to find all the cool stuff on the interweb, and we've got a lot of great stuff. We're going to be talking about Eric Schmidt. We're going to be talking about pantyhose, ladies and gentlemen, and how to use it, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff, including tech and news and everything. So let's get started, shall we?
Welcome to Geekazine, a weekly audio magazine for the geek in all of us. Now, here is your host, Jeffrey Powers.
Hey everybody, ladies and gentlemen, Jeffrey Powers here. Welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast, and I forgot to start the recording here, which I'll take care of as I go along. Welcome to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. My name is Jeffrey Powers. You are in beautiful Madison, Wisconsin, over at www.geekazine.com. And I just realized I didn't turn on a light here, and I'll probably be doing that in a couple minutes here. But right now, you are on the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. If this is the first time that you've come to the show, thank you very, very much for showing up to the show. We really do appreciate it. Actually, I really do appreciate it. It's not as much we as it is me. I keep saying we, but the reality is we is you. I always say you is we and we is we. Did you get confused yet? I got confused, but that's okay because we're here with the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. Yes, I'm back down in the chair here. We'll talk about that in a second. We got a whole bunch of other stuff to go through, but hey, we just want to thank everybody for coming to the show. Of course, go over to iTunes, put it into your show notes. Go over to whatever feed catcher, feed burner, feed liver, feed whatever you've got, and put it in there. And of course, that will bring a whole mess of new stuff to the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. And the more that you participate, the more that I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for coming down to the show. Of course, go over to geekazine.com. That's going to give you all the shoot nooch right there. Let's go over to there's geekazine.com. And of course, we got all the CES stuff coming up here. And we've got all the podcast live. Of course, you'll see that there. And then, of course, the regular articles, including the last week's podcast, which it was last week, of course. But I haven't had too much time to really put down any new articles because all the articles I've been putting down, ladies and gentlemen, have been CES articles. 250 to be precisely exact. It has been 250 articles over at CES. That's about 1/10 of the booths that came out there. Nobody has come out with 1/10 of the video articles out there. So that's a lot of videos. So and we're trying to get them up by the end of the week. Which right now there's 100 videos over on Geekazine.com. You can go over to the special media feed, and it's actually pretty simple to do. Straightforward. I hate to say simple. Word simple. It's silly. And why did that do that? Okay. Hello. What the heck is that? Anyway, if you go over it's a screen. I don't know what screen it is though. It's just weird. Anyway, if you go over to let's get the right screen. There we go. If you go over to geekazine.com and you'll see CES video of the hour, see more at Geekazine, and I don't know why that's in a blue. You click on Geekazine and I'll change that. That'll change to a white color there. And then that'll flip over there and you will see everything, hopefully, from Geekazine. The latest one, of course, we talk about Targus for the Samsung Galaxy Tab, the Targus Truss, the stylus pen, and wireless Bluetooth keyboard. That was part of the live show over at CES. I'm going through some of the live show stuff, but we got a lot of floor interviews. We got a lot of live show interviews. There's me talking about the Eton Solra, which is the device that you can basically plug into your plug into your iPod into the box there. Sorry about that. Plug your iPod into your box there and have it solar powered and run around, and then the Lexmark, and so on and so forth. So that's all over at Geekazine.com. All that CES, that grand old CES content over at Geekazine.com. And I'm wondering if that ruined my video that I was going to show. Yeah, I don't know what I must have closed that window out. Whew, lots of things happening over here. Let's start while I'm doing that. I find the video that I wanted to talk about. Let's talk for a minute about excuse me, the CES videos. And like I said, had a whole ton of videos out there. More coming out there, but go over to tpn.tv, and that'll get you all the videos that you need, and go from there. I'm trying to find the video that I really wanted to show you guys, and I'm not finding it right off the hand. So anyway, and so you'll go over to the CES there. As you can see, I'm not over at the Geek Bar. Geek Bar's right over there. And right now, basically what's been happening is, since I have to put up 255 product videos pretty much 2 to 3 times, I'm filling out this form three times. One over at tpn.tv, one over at geekazine.com, and then, of course, any extra stuff that I have to do to really promote the channel. It's crazy. And you do that 255 videos 2 times, and that takes a lot of time, because you have to rewrite the article. I mean, it's not like I can copy and paste it, or else Google comes back and says, no, that's bad. In fact, they're even going to be starting zapping. I didn't put that in a news article. I heard about it today. They're going to be zapping some of these companies that just decide to regurgitate word for word. It's complete plagiarism of articles. So if 90% of their articles are plagiarized, they copied and pasted articles, then Google's gonna start zapping you on that. So if you are one of those websites that just try to regurgitate, then that might not be a thing. I think I'm gonna do this video right here. But anyway, let's get back into the show. So the Geek Bar is ready to go. It's just the question of how to set up the cameras, how to set up the microphones, and I don't want to make it look bad or feel bad. Last week when I did it, I had a lot of stuff that it just didn't feel right. And this microphone, it's a great microphone. I love this down here, but up there at the Geek Bar, it's just not going to happen. And in fact, I got these microphones, these little lavalier microphones from Samsung. The only problem is they've got these little 4-pin ports. So in order for me to use these little lav microphones, I have to get an adapter to hook into the board, and the adapters themselves cost $120 or something like that. And right now, I'm just trying to catch up from all my expenses at CES because, ladies and gentlemen, it's not cheap. Not cheap to go to Vegas on CES weekend. It's cheap to go to Vegas. I can get, if it was any other week, I could probably get into Vegas for a weekend. Probably $100 if I fly Southwestern. I could $200 to $300. I could be going to Vegas. CES, not so much. Flights don't even cost $300 when you're going to Vegas at CES. That's unfortunately that's how it goes. Same thing goes with South by Southwest. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I really want to go to South by Southwest, and I'm really trying to make the push for it this year. I know there's some contests out there because the price of South by Southwest is very, very high. I'm going to try and work with some other people and maybe come up with a joint effort and doing something and talk to some sponsors and maybe get something going. But I really, really, truly do want to go to South by Southwest. I might even be attaching myself to somebody else's production, which, Geekazine needs to do that. It needs to stretch out its wings a little bit and show other people from other production companies how much Geekazine can, or myself for that matter, can really help with content and partner up and get some stuff going, because it's all about getting you more content, and I hope to really get that South by Southwest experience out there, because that's the key right there, is just give you as much content. And like I said, I'm going to be going to some other events this year, hopefully, if everything works out, and go from there. Really trying to push to get these other shows going. We've got a couple people in the wings. I know Gary is asked a couple times about it. I got to talk to Walt about a show, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the old-fashioned Skype call-in show, where we're going to use Skype and go from there. Hey, this week it was really weird. I got when I got back from CES, I turned on my computer and I started working down in the computer down in the Geek Studio here. And all of a sudden, this little message popped up. And I'm going to see if I can find it really quick. This message came from Charter. It kind of concerned me a little bit when I first saw it. But then I was thinking about it. It's like, for the masses that use Charter and don't think about it, and they get emails and stuff like that, and they disregard the emails, this was something that wasn't really disregardable. So, and then this little picture popped up. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Basically, as I was browsing, that's test your internet connection speed. That's not the one I wanted. Basically, what happened was all of a sudden this little pop-up showed up in my browser, in the Charter browser, that said, "Hey, you've got." Where is it? I took a screenshot of it. You've got it's time to change your modem. We need to change your modem. If you do not change your modem, internet modem, it will not work at the end of the month. So, and I know I took pictures of this because I wanted to show you guys. But anyway, I should be a little bit more. Where did I put them? That's weird. Anyway, so here we are. I put them in a folder called modem. Go figure. So anyway, let's switch it over here. I'm going to show you this. Let's see. Is this it? Yes, this is. It says urgent, avoid service disruption. I was typing. I was typing on. Yeah, I was typing in a group there. It says based on your account information, your older modem. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Like that. Based on your account information, your older modem is no longer optimizing, and Charter would like to replace this. This is just a little drop-down message that showed up. And it's like, what? And I was a little concerned. I was very concerned, I'll tell you that. I don't normally do that, but I went and I checked it out, and everything was on the up and up. So I went and I chose it, and then basically says that you submit the request to get the Charter modem there, and of course that helps with the internet browsing. So I got the new modem. Oh wow, okay, there we go. I got the new modem, and a little bit of freezing on the video there. Just noticed that. Anyway, I got the modem about 3 days ago, and I installed it, which I know how to do. And so the old modem right here, they said, well, you can keep it, recycle it, do whatever you want with it. So, heck, it's going over on the Geek Bar. So this is mine to keep, which I'm really, I don't know. I don't know if I'm excited about it. It was a Terion TJ modem, but I can open it up and see what's on inside there, because they said, don't give it back to us. We don't want it. But I like to thank Charter. There's been a lot of good and bad on some of these internet service providers. And yeah, we're not the fastest internet service provider. We don't have 34 megs down, 34 megs up, or whatever the numbers are. But we do have some pretty consistent, at least I've had very consistent internet access with my Charter modem. So good job, Charter. Good job, Charter, on there. So. And you might have some different. Let me know if you have a different story on that. The phone number, hotline number, 608-205-4378, or geekazine@gmail.com. But have you had good or bad problems with your Charter? Maybe you're not running Charter. Maybe you're running Comcast. Maybe you're running Time Warner or Cox or something like that. Tell me what your experiences are on your internet provider. 608-205-4378 or geekazine@gmail.com. And remember, at the most part, if you want the best connection from your modem, from your internet provider, hook up straight up to the modem. Don't go through other routers. Don't go wirelessly. Go straight into the Ethernet connection. That'll give you your best connection. If you're running around your house with your laptop and you got a wireless connection and the modem's downstairs or in a room that's got a lot of, I don't know, lead paint in it or steel beams or whatever, and just blocking signals, yeah, you're not going to get any better signal. So anyway, let's talk about our sponsors. Let's thank our sponsors, and let's get into the God-given show. Anyway, let's do it. Back up now, back up often, back up off-site. Remember that code GEEK gets you 10% off. GEEK gets you 10% off that already low price. Per computer, $4.95 a month per computer gets you the backup safety, the backup comfort that you need. And that's over at Mozy.com. Back up your pictures, back up your documents. I'm going to tell you something. This computer holds a few terabytes worth of data. And Mozy.com backs it all up. And, of course, when I first did it, I had to do increments because it would have taken forever to do it all at once. So I basically went in the settings and I said, okay, back up this part, this part first. And then when it's all backed up, then I'll give you some more to do. And then I finally got it all backed up. But it's all up on Mozy.com. Renewal was pretty simple. I just got my renewal for my Mozy.com. It just charged me another $54 a year to protect my pictures, my documents, my life online. It's encrypted. Plus, I can hook up a USB hard drive and instantly back up on-site as well as off-site. So it gives you more than one option to do that. And you can back up PC, you can back up Mac, and you can back up a whole bunch of stuff. Even hook up your external hard drives and back those up too. That's all over at Mozy.com. Remember that code GEEK gets you 10% off. Of course, the CES was made possible by all these sponsors over here. The first one's over at Luxor.com. Choose your dates, choose your rates. Luxor.com. Get to the point. Stay in the Big Pyramid. And that was kind of fun. I do have to admit, it was kind of fun to stay in a pyramid. They had some great rooms. We had a bed. We had flat screen TVs. Had the Bose system and the refrigerator in the room, which was really, really nice. The room I had also had a Whirlpool hot tub, which was kind of nice. I used it a couple times on there. But anyway, dates are prices as low as $40 a night. So over a weekend, you can go over to with plane fare from in the continental United States, of course, plane fare and weekends worth of fun over in Las Vegas is going to cost you probably about $200 if you do it right in the right weekend. So check that all out, and they have a lot of great places that you can go inside Luxor, so you don't even need to leave the facility. And that's over at Luxor.com. Try yourself a free audiobook over at audiblepodcast.com/CES. That's going to get you some great audiobooks. I haven't been listening to audiobooks lately because, once again, CES, all those interviews I have to get up right now. But you can get a 14-day free trial of Audible Podcast if you go over to audiblepodcast.com/CES. And, of course, that supports the CES action right there. And then, of course, GoDaddy.com. We've got Pod 150. If you go over to and use code Pod 150, that's going to get you some great deals. But CES 25, if you're a brand new customer, brand new to GoDaddy, CES 25 is going to get you 25% off. You got only about a month to use this, so get it done, get it now, and get everything. As you can see, new .com and .co domains are only $11.99 a month. And of course, it's telling me that I have to renew some of my domains. So if you're a brand new user of GoDaddy and you want to switch all your stuff over to GoDaddy.com, do it now. 25% off with CES 25 code. And of course, Snorg Tees. Snorg Tees is a lot of T-shirts that I'm not wearing a Snorg Tee today, but on the 5 Tech Things You Should Know, you'll see all the cool Snorg Tees. My favorite one is right here. Dear Math, I'm not a therapist. Solve your own problems. but they add new ones every single week. I'm looking at this one. I like the cactus one, Hugs, right here. Geek is the new sexy. 8-bit body armor. Lots of cool stuff. Oh, here's another good one. If zombies chase us, I'm tripping you. And that's over at snorgtees.com. Go over there and check that out. Of course, go over to Geekazine, click on the link, and that will help Geekazine stay alive in these times. And then, of course, all the video is done over on Wirecast, using Wirecast for Windows, for Mac. They got Wirecast 4. And then, of course, the new Wirecast 4 Pro, which gives you cool stuff like scoreboards, and you can actually do IP tunnels, so you can actually basically set it so you can be in one area and they can be in a completely different area, state, whatever, and you can push it all through and create great content like we do over at Geekazine.com. All right, I went a little bit long on this, but we're going to have it's going to be a shorter show otherwise. So let's, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get into your content for today. Let's get the right one here. There we go. Bring that all back. There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. We're going to start over on eweek.com, and no major pictures here. So let's switch it back to me. Hi, how you doing? Twitter's racking up $150 million in promoted ads. They're going to be they're looking for new investments. They're trying to get IPO, from what I understand, and they're really trying to make this whole thing happen, and get into the whole game where so many people have made money off of Twitter. Now it's time for Twitter to make money off of Twitter. Let's see what happens. Some e-marketers could see about $100 million in 2012 from ad programs. So Twitter's getting into that game. Of course, we've talked about that before. They want to do promoted tweets, promoted trends, and promoted accounts, whatever that means. So it's going to change the face of Twitter a little bit, and I'm not sure how people are going to really react to that. I know that there are some people that are going, hey, wait a minute, this is not right. You need to make your money, yes, but there's a lot of things that I need to do that I've been doing with my account here. And I don't like this idea at all. I don't. Just don't like it. Not liking it. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see how people react once Twitter starts to really ramp up on their advertising stuff. But yeah, and we'll keep you abreast of the whole situation. But if you want to read more about this, go over to eweek.com. All right, Facebook is making credits legal currency, and the only legal currency on Facebook. Basically, if you got some of these games, they were trying to circumvent the currency that, or the way that Facebook actually makes a little bit of money off of all these games. So, and I think that was like 30% cut, because you're going through Facebook. Now, I'm working on a wireframe, and I'm still looking for a good developer here, but I'm working on a wireframe to present to a couple investors on a new idea that spans through Facebook. But it's not as much, it's part Facebook. It's going to be, hopefully it'll be part MySpace, it'll be parts Facebook, but it'll also push off to websites. And the idea is that if you decide that you don't want to be in Facebook, if you've removed yourself from that social network realm, from Facebook and MySpace, and you have a website, that you can still participate in this idea, because it's amazing. It's an amazing idea, at least in my head it is. So, but looking for a programmer. But basically what it's saying is you're going in, you've got to use the Facebook currency, which may change the way that I have to think about how my idea works. But I'm still going to try and figure out a way. Maybe even do some sort of converting. So maybe the ultimate thing is to use the Facebook credits. But on July 1st, you have to use, if you invest real money into games running on Facebook, You will not get Farm Bucks, you will not get City Cash, you will not get anything like that. You will get Facebook currency, which I think is a good idea because that way Facebook can keep everything on the up and up and go from there. So we'll see what happens, how people react, and how gifts are given too. I mean, this not only affects cash, but it also affects if I give you a cup of coffee, for example, from Starbucks or something like that. Does Facebook get like 30% of that coffee? Here, Facebook, have some coffee. I don't know. Anyway, check that out. It's over on informationweek.com. Hitachi is coming out with 3 terabyte drives. 3 terabyte drives. Of course, they are going to be for the business sector right now. But 3 terabyte drives that's pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen. 3 terabytes. And of course, I would guess within the next year we would see consumer 3 terabyte drives coming at 7,200 RPM and rated at 2 million hours of time. These drives come with a 5-year warranty. So if you are a small business or something like that, you might want to check that out. Did they say a price on here? No prices that I can see right here. But if you want to read more on this, go over to PCWorld.com. That'll get you all the deals on all the drives and so on and so forth. All right, where are we? When you put out tablets, you got the iPad tablet, and then you have Android tablet, and it's kind of like Mac and PC. When Windows came out, Windows was like, okay, you can put it onto your Dells, you can put it onto your Hewlett Packards, you can put it onto your, trying to think back then, Windows 3.1, Windows 95 Packard Bells, and your Zenith data systems back then, and now it's HP and Lenovo and Dell, and the other ones. But you could pretty much put Windows on anything. And on Mac, you had Mac. Now, back in the early or late 90s, they had partnerships, so there were like Motorola Macs, and there were iMacs had a Mac. And then they reeled it all in and said, no, now you have to buy all your hardware from Apple and your software from Apple. And the reason why is because that Apple wanted to make sure that everybody got the exact same video card, the exact same memory. That way they didn't have to do a whole bunch of testing, a whole bunch of R&D, and figure out if this worked on a Dell machine, if this worked on a HP machine. They didn't have to worry about that. They didn't have to worry about the chips because they figured out the chips. They know that chip is going to be in there for the year, so on and so forth. So all they had to do was test on Macs for Mac software. Now, let's get it into tablet mode. Same thing here. You have the Apple iPad. That's my Apple iPad right here. That runs iOS software. And they don't care about any other software, just iOS software. And they care about the iPad. And and they know the hardware that's in that iPad. They don't have to worry about the rest. However, Android can be put onto anything. In fact, we saw it on TVs at CES. And Android is going to be a very multifunction device. But in the tablet line, I mean, you're going to have ARM processors. You're going to have Intel Atom processors. You're going to have a whole line of different processors, and maybe even an Apple A8 processor in that mix. So when Android tests Android, they got to test it on a line of different tablets, running different configurations, different process speeds, different memory configurations, so on and so forth. Now, when you put that all together, the reality is that in the end, there's going to be more Android tablets than iPad tablets because you can only sell so many iPad tablets, but then there's so many different configurations of Android tablets that you can sell out there, especially those Android tablets that are used in workforce. And we saw a lot of workforce tablets out there at CES as well. So, developers, now this is where I'm getting it with this article here. Application developers are really starting to look at Android applications because they know that eventually the Android tablet will outnumber the iPad tablet. And same thing goes with Windows 7. Once Windows comes out with a a real Windows tablet operating system and a development kit for that for their app store. Once all this comes out, then you'll have an HTC tablet. You'll have a Samsung tablet running Windows 7. You could have a Dell tablet running Windows 7 or Android or whatever. But you're going to be able to have different tablets. You're going to have different things to worry about. So these developers are really starting to spin their wheels on it. In fact, there's a lot of developers that are complaining already with the Android operating system. The first generation Android operating system, which was on a G1, which was an HTC phone, doesn't play Angry Birds that well. And I heard about this. It's like somebody can't play Angry Birds, and what's the problem? Get a new phone. So anyway, but apparently these app developers, if you want to make money, yeah, you write for the iPad, but in the long haul, eventually Android will have more Android systems out there. Especially if you can get an iPad for $499, which the rumor for the next iPad is going to be $399. But if somebody makes a tablet, an Android tablet for only $199, a more affordable price for most people, they're going to buy the Android than buy the Apple. It's not going to be the fastest thing on the market. It's not going to be the most powerful thing on the market, but it's going to be something that most consumers have. Small businesses will get like 15 Android tablets rather than iPads because it's going to be cheaper. So then that's going to take a big toll. So the question is, where do you go? Do you program for iPad or do you program for Android? And a lot of developers are saying Android. And in fact, 92% said that they were very interested in creating apps for the iPhone. 87%, and this was a survey by Appcelerator and research firm from IDC. They polled 2,200 developers and saying that 87% would like to go Android-based smartphones and jump into the tablets. They picked up basically tablets have picked up steam on that. But the reality is, if you really want to learn a system, learn the Android system, because chances are in the next 2 to 3 years, Android will overpower tablets from Apple, and more people will be on Android tablets than Apple tablets. And if Apple got in the idea of actually making a $99 tablet, that would change the game. I don't think the iPad 2 will be $99. Maybe the iPad 1, the first generation iPad 1 will be $99 once the new iPad comes out. But they need to drastically reduce price so more people will buy it. That's how it goes. Anyway, if you want to read more about this, computerworld.com is where you go. Iran is got a cyber police group. It's one of the only ones in the world, real ones in the world, I guess, through the government. And what they're doing is they're striking back at the digital war. And, of course, it's Iran. So there might be a little bit more legal loopholes to go through in these countries like that. But they're definitely looking for espionage, counter-espionage and riots. And they're looking to really try to keep the attacks down. And which there's more. Okay, I'll give you more. There's going to be more insubordinates in Iran than the United States, at least that I can tell. Of course, the United States is a lot bigger than Iran, but they're really working on this cyber police task force to try and get rid of foreign element. How do I say that? So pretty interesting stuff. You can check this out over at idg.no. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's switch over to here. If you like emoticons, then you're going to love this one right here. It is a USB add-on called the Emoticon Keypad. And it just basically has got all the emoticons. You want a smiley face, you want a sad face, you want the tongue sticking out, you want the S. It's right there. So so there's a lot of cool stuff. Apparently, it was at CES. I did not see that as I was going through CES there. Of course, 4x4 grid, and it's got about 16 emoticons. I hope they expand it a little bit more, but basically, it's just running keystrokes. When you press it down, it's like pressing 2 keys down. So that's pretty cool stuff, and I think there was a price on this. There wasn't a price on this. This is where I got this over at Gearlog, so check that out over at Gearlog, and of course, when it's available, it will let us know. All right. And that does bring us to it. Did I talk about Murdoch's iPad newspaper? I don't know if I did. Finally, we'll just say finally. Murdoch's iPad newspaper is going to launch in the next 2 weeks. It's priced at 99 cents per week. Some Sun content will go behind a paywall as the basic bottom line. That's over at Reuters.com. That does bring us to the end of part 1 of the show. We're going to get into a video here, and the video that I've decided to pick is the backup is a company called Fling. And actually, the company is called 10-1 Design. And they made Fling, which is this new little suction cup idea that you can hook up to your iPad and get rid of that virtual joystick and actually make a tactile feel joystick. That was pretty cool, so we're going to show that off on the break here on the video side. On the audio side, of course, you're going to get a little thing from Stitcher here, so listen to that. And then we will be right back on the Geekazine Weekly Podcast.
CES coverage, sponsored by Luxor Las Vegas. Get to the point. Rooms start at $40. See TPN.TV for the Luxor advertisement, which is the gateway to savings.
Hi, this is Esbjörn Larsen. Continuous coverage at the CES for the Tech Podcast Network. I am standing here with Jenny from 10-1 Design up there at 10-1design.com, and they have a really cool product. I mean, I didn't know what I was looking at when I first came by the booth, so I'm going to have Jenny here explain what it is.
Hi, so we have a joystick for the iPad. It's the first of its kind. We've just launched it this week. It basically works with any game that has a directional pad or a virtual joystick in it. So that's, at our count, it's a list of at least 70, and I'm sure there's more that we haven't found yet.
What's your favorite right now for those games?
I like Meteor Blitz because it's easy enough for me to play. Super Mega Worm is another favorite that's very good. Many first-person shooter, any role-playing games, those types of things are all compatible.
Great. So why don't you show us how you play this thing?
Okay. So I'm going to open Meteor Blitz.
Should we turn around? All right. So we turn around like this, and okay. Do you want? I can hold you like.
So here's the virtual joystick of the game. What I do with Fling is I just snap it over top.
Sorry.
Okay. I snap Fling over top, center it over the joystick, and then I use my thumb to navigate through the game. So it sort of centers automatically. It's a very intuitive feel, and you have tactile feedback with the actual physical joystick here instead.
Wow. That's really cool, and I mean, you're getting that direct response.
Yes, yes. We've heard that people are increasing their scores, so it almost feels like cheating. But it's very effective, and we think it's a lot of fun.
So how much does this run for?
We are selling this for $25, and we will most likely have a 2-pack for under $40 as well.
And, okay, so we turn around, and, sorry. Okay. It's kind of hard to demonstrate when you have an iPad and you have to look at the same time. So is this on the market already?
We are taking pre-orders now, and we'll be able to ship by the end of January.
That's great. So by end of January, you can increase your scores with Fling, okay? And I mean, it has also the added benefit that you're not smudging anything. You just
No, exactly. You can, and it also comes in a storage bag, which is suitable for cleaning the screen.
great, fantastic. Well, thank you, Jenny.
Well, thank you, Rusty.
This is Esbjörn with Mr. Netcast for the Tech Podcast Network, and I'm standing here at the 10-1 Design, and that's 10-1design.com, and the product is called Fling.
All right, we are back. Welcome back to the show. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for listening. 608-205-4378 is the phone number. Geekazine@gmail.com is the email address, and we saw Fling. And if you go over to video version, you're going to find that video. Of course, if you go over to tpn.tv or you go over to Geekazine and you find out about Fling, I'll put that into the show notes so you can find out a little bit more about that little device that you just basically attach to the iPad, and it becomes a tactile joystick that you can use to play games on your iPad. So that's pretty cool, and it's one of the many gems we found over at the Consumer Electronics Show. So let's get back into the show here, because we're going to get you going and get you on with life. And where are we? We are right here. Boom, Crave. We're going to start over here. Basically, Google Gmail application is getting a cloud print upgrade. So if you're working on Gmail or working in Gmail or working any type of any mobile application for iPhone and Android operating systems, iPad or whatever, you will be able to choose a button, and you'll be able to choose to print from the drop-down menu. And then, of course, you got to set everything up. But once you set everything up, you'll be able to go from your iPad or tablet and smartphone and say, I want to print this page, and the next thing you know, you have that designated printer. That printer will take care of it. I know that my Epson has an option to do some cloud printing. In fact, there's an iPhone application with Epson that I just had to pair. I had set it up so it would print to my printer and go from there. So I'm pretty. That's pretty cool stuff. Really cool to actually see Google Gmail application get this cloud print update. So if you want to read more on that, that's over at CNET on Crave at cnet.com. All right. Apparently, I don't know why, but I guess iPhones in Israel are very expensive. So what an elderly Israeli woman did was she went to London, bought 44 iPhones, and sent them back, tried to go back to Jerusalem after taping those 44 iPhones to herself, her body. And she got caught, and of course they went through the full body scanner, and they revealed that there were 44 iPhones attached to her. Now, the reason why the iPhone apparently is very expensive in Israel. 32 gigabyte iPhone is like $5,000 NIS, which is about $1,400. And so I can see why somebody would take that type of risk. If you can buy an iPhone for $300-400 and sell for $1,400, I don't know if I'd do. Would you do that? Would you tape no, in the United States it's a little bit more difficult because we're all going through these scanners and stuff like that. I suppose you could probably pack it in your bag and they would just look at it as like a hard drive or something like that. But I don't know. Would you try to make the effort to bring an iPhone over to Israel to sell for $1,400? Let me know. 608-205-4378 or geekazine@gmail.com. $1,400 for an iPhone. How about $100 million? That's the topic of the day. Google chairman, or former chairman, chief executive officer, now president of Google or whatever his new status is. Eric Schmidt is leaving He's going to be succeeded by Larry Page. And he basically, Google said, hey, you did a great job in the last 10 years in Google, so here's $100 million to be on your way. And I'm proud. I'm happy for Eric Schmidt. I mean, he did a great job in the last 10 years. God, think about it. Google has become the powerhouse that I'd love to be with my companies, with anything. But that's a lot of money to say, hey, here, 10 years, here's $100 million. Go on your way. Bye-bye now. And it basically, and it includes stocks and stock options and so on and so forth. But how would you like that? You're working 10 years in your company, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm going to step down. I'm going to let somebody else run the company for a while, or do my job for a little while, and then somebody comes back and says, well, here's a check for $1 million, $500,000. Thanks a lot for the great job. Amazing stuff. Now, Eric Schmidt is also working on some other stuff. There's rumors that he wants to get onto I think it's a Fox News talk show and be a talk host, and which would be a great idea. I mean, Eric Schmidt, if you want to, come over to Geekazine and we'll get you a show over here. I don't have a problem with that. So I don't think that'll happen. I don't think I'm going to get a call anytime soon from Eric Schmidt saying, "Yeah, well, set me up. Let's do something." But if you hear on the grapevine, Geekazine is looking for people to do shows. So just give me a call over at 608-205-4378, and we'll get you set up on a show. And I think it'll be a great show. I'll tell you that right now. But I am surprised that he is trying to go for mainstream broadcast TV, especially when Google's been so adamant in trying to get over into over-the-top TV. I don't know. There's still money in broadcast TV. It's going to start to dwindle eventually, but there is money in it right now. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that Eric Schmidt deserved $100 million for stepping down? Do you think that it's something other than that? I did read conspiracy blog that basically said, "Ooh, Eric Schmidt was asked to step down. They said he was getting old, and they wanted some new ideas in there. Blah blah blah. Whatever." I don't think that's true, but if it is, it is. And I think I'd step down for $100 million. Geekazine@gmail.com is the email address, of course. So email me, call me, and let me know, or just Google me, because everything, technically, my email's on Google, my voice is on Google. Yeah, I guess he does deserve $100 million. I don't know. Anyway, one thing he can invest in with that $100 million is old pantyhose. And that's over at wikihow.com. It's a great little article. 7 things you can do with your old pantyhose. Now, granted, I don't have any pantyhose, but if I did, I know what I could do with them. I could use them in the bathroom to put cleaners into them, air fresheners into them, and let them hang in there. I can use add soap shavings to the pantyhose to make a bubbly bath if I wanted to. I can use it for hanging up dry clothes. You can use it in the kitchen to store your onions and garlic. So there's many different ways. There was one where it's like hang it on your clothesline as a stretchable clothesline, so it kind of breathes through and dries the all the clothing, I guess. You can use it in the bedroom. Multiple ways. Here's ways to in the garden and outdoor work. I'm going to tell you right now, even if you don't have a pair of pantyhose, you should go, and you have a vehicle, you should go and get yourself a pair of pantyhose and put it in your car, because you never know when a pair of pantyhose is going to come in handy. A radiator, I'm sorry, not a radiator, but a belt decides to come loose or something like that. You gotta keep a door closed or a window rolled up or something like that. You can use that for that, I suppose. However you want to use pantyhose, I'm not going to go out and get pantyhose. Of course, I can actually make a pantyhose windscreen with this microphone. That's a perfect use for pantyhose for me. And of course, another one, if you're painting, this is a perfect one. I've actually done this before. If you're painting and you're done with the paintbrush, put it in the pantyhose. it's a paintbrush cover. Yeah. So many different uses for pantyhose. And so I thought I'd share that with you. That's over at wikihow.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that does bring us to the end of the Geekazine Weekly Podcast. If you loved it, if you hated it, let me know over at www.geekazine.com. Thanks a lot for everybody who came onto the show and left the show and came back to the show and left the show and came back to the show and left the show. Thank you very much to everybody. Thanks to Ustream. Thanks to all the sponsors over at Mozy.com, over at Telestream, Wirecast, over at Luxor and Audible, and GoDaddy.com. Of course, use the code POD150. Use the code GEEK or in SnorkTees.com. Use the code GEEK over at Mozy.com. And of course, if you want to support Geekazine, just send me some money. You can send me $100 million if you want to, Google. Yeah, you could if you wanted to. But anyway, that does bring us to the end of the show. Thanks a lot for watching, listening. 608-205-4378, geekazine@gmail.com. Until next week, hopefully I'll get the Geek Bar a little bit more situated so it's more usable. Get the camera set up. Really cool situation I got. Excuse me. Over there we got the monitor set up. It's going to be a monitor and camera right on top of it, so I'll be able to do the switching and watch you at the same time. So I'm really excited about all that. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, listening. Thanks a lot for watching, listening. Until next week, we'll see you. Take care.